constituencies, some constituencies of with MPs who are NPP members of parliament. We're asking them a very simple question. Do you support the actions of your MPs in demanding that the president sacks Ken Ofori-Atta? And listen to them. When we spoke to them, just listen to, in the new Jabbing, South constituency, this is what they said. Relax.
I just wanted to be sure.
Relax.
That's what I heard.
We'll tell you everything
later
on the show. And as always, you can be part of the conversation. Why don't you join us on Twitter? Use the hashtag JoySMS. And you can also join us via WhatsApp 055 1111997. Time now for the Joy Business Report with Daryl, Kwawu, and the team.
Hi everyone, coming up this morning on the Joy Business Report, Bank of Ghana reviews liquidity requirement for commercial banks as cedi depreciation hits hard at the operations. We have details coming up. Also, World Bank casts doubts over Ghana's ability to reach upper middle income status between 2037 and 2040. Plus, rice producers compelled to sell 90% of their paddy rice to Nigerians for processing due to low investment in operations of local millers. Details ahead. My name is Daryl. Thanks for being with us this Thursday morning. The Bank of Ghana has taken some extra measures to help improve liquidity for commercial banks. The move has been influenced by the impact of the cedi depreciation on lending operations of banks. Here's George Affe with more.
One of the measures that has been reviewed is the amount that commercial banks can hold at the Bank of Ghana for every cedi and dollar collected as deposits. The banks were initially required to provide cover depending on the currency that they had mobilized, but they argued that looking at the current pressure on the Ghana cedi, it will be prudent for this measure to be reviewed, a call that was answered by the regulator. The action is expected to improve the liquidity position of banks, a move that is expected to impact on their lending operations. Commercial banks had argued that the previous restrictions was really impacting negatively on their business, a move that is also expected to impact on their ability to lend to businesses and support other banking operations. The Bank of Ghana believes this review may help deal with credit extension pressures on most of the commercial banks in the country. But for some, making more money available to these banks to aid their operations, what could be the impact of inflation going forward, and whether the Bank of Ghana may have to come in again to try and stabilize the situation.
George, I feel with that report. Let's take a look at the currency market. The cedi lost ground marginally against the dollar yesterday. It's going for 13 cedis 50 pence west. The pound selling at 15 cedis and the euro going for 13 cedis. Now, the World Bank is casting doubts over Ghana's ability to reach upper middle income status by 2037 or between 2037 and 2040 and graduate to high income status by 2057. According to the Bretton Woods institution, the economy has become more reliant on natural resource extraction, whilst growth in other sectors has stalled. There is more in this report.
In its October 2022 country climate and development report, the World Bank said poverty reduction and job creation have slowed and 70% of jobs are still informal. It explains that though Ghana has made major progress over the past 3 decades and the country's leadership has high ambitions for the future, the trajectory going forward is increasingly uncertain. Furthermore, despite initiatives to boost access to key infrastructure, such as electricity and communications, the country has not fully managed to convert its natural wealth into sufficient infrastructure, human and institutional capital. For example, Ghana scored second to last in the Quality of Roads Infrastructure Index when compared with the performance of 10 other West African countries. It added that institutions, infrastructure, and services are also not keeping up with fast urbanization. As a result, around 40% of the urban population live in informal settlements without access to basic services such as housing, mobility, and sanitation.
Moving on, former Finance Minister said Tekpa is doubtful that Ghana may secure a deal from the International Monetary Fund by the end of the year. He argues that there are many negotiations that Ghana would have to engage the fund on, which may take months before an agreement is finalized. Speaking on Joy News, the former Finance Minister said that 2023 budget should bring some clarity on the economic situation.
I think it's the current situation that we have that is leading to anxiety and maybe a bit of ambiguity in saying that we are going to have a program by the end of the year, which some of us have said would be very ambitious, especially since the staff that should also be answering questions, renegotiating and doing another round, and are the very staff who are going to be working on the budget, our own budget, which will take 1.5 months from reading in the middle of November to getting an appropriation. And that itself is also very important because you need appropriation for government not to shut. But another important thing which the budget could do would be to contain whatever preliminary agreements, may have been reached. But of course, that will be a consensus with the fund. And that will clarify a lot of issues, even in terms of the speculation, some of the speculation as well.
Said Tekwe there, he is a former finance minister. Now, local rice producers say they have been compelled to sell their paddy rice for export to Nigeria due to the lack of milling plants here in Ghana. Data from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture shows that Ghana spent a total of 6.8 billion cedis on the import of rice. Reacting to the issue, convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana, Yao Edupoku, said Ghana could have saved much in foreign currencies for other use if local rice millers are empowered to process paddy rice for Ghanaians rather than export to Nigeria.
Now that Nigeria closed their borders to import of commodities, they have all made a beeline to other West African countries, especially Ghana. As I'm talking to you today, you go up north where we are harvesting, prices are shooting per the day because the Nigerians can afford to take it. Travel with it all the way to Nigeria and mill the paddy.
Here we are importing rice.
Yes, that is the irony of it. That's the irony. Right now, Ghana, this year, we may make about 1.2 million metric tons of paddy. Translated into processed rice will be about 60% of that. So we are looking at about 600,000, 700,000 metric tons of rice into the system. That would have been beautiful, but no.
Convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana, Yao Edupoku. Turning to other news, board member at Innovari Ghana, Ebo Richardson, has advised government and organizations to perceive Ghana's digital transformation agenda as a progressive process that ought to be pursued holistically. He said that digital transformation is an evolution and not an event, hence the over-concentration on technological transformation without a corresponding transformation in the people, work structures, and social norms could defeat the country's digital transformation agenda. Mr. Richardson was speaking on Masterclass with Yalbanafo.
Digital is far broader. It's a leadership and strategy challenge, and we need to look at it from that broad context and ensure that all the elements that make it up are properly constituted so that our organizations can benefit, so that we can continue to co-create value, so that we can compete better, both locally but also internationally, and so that we don't lose sight of the future and being part and taking our seat, at that particular table. So for me, it's important that that broad conversation continues to be held.
Ebo Richardson is board member at Innovari Ghana. Jumia Ghana says it will complement government's efforts to ensure a stable inflation by providing exclusive offers on all of its products to consumers. This, according to Head of Customer Experience Abigail Aisioforiwa, is a strategic vision to reduce the burden on citizens through offering high-quality products and goods at competitive prices. She spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the 10th edition of Jumia Black Friday promotion sales.
We sort of predicted some of these economic hardships beforehand. And also, every company, has a profit margin they look at. Now, Jumia is saying that we don't mind making little to no profit at all, just so Ghanaians will be comfortable. Because we ourselves as employees, we are consumers. We all know what is happening. So we try to get into the best negotiations with our partners. Our top partners were mentioned. We try to nail them to the best prices that we can and then assist customers generally.
You heard Abigail Aisioforiwa, who is Head of Customer Experience at Jumia Ghana. The National Petroleum Authority has defended the recent price hikes of petroleum products at the pumps. According to the authority, the unstable foreign exchange market is making it difficult for importers to get products. Head of communications at the NPA, Mohammed Kudus, tells Joy Business that there was an unexpected situation which caused the increment before the normal pricing window.
The reason that we are able to do the 2 weeks window is because of the stability that we have in the market. So it allows you a certain predictability. So you know that the cedi will remain stable. Even if it was going to erode or gain, it will be a little marginal. But in this particular case, you realize that we're having a cedi that we started around 6, the beginning of the year, was close to almost 15 somewhere last week. And to where you have with a spate of, let's say, a week, the cedi is losing its value against the dollar. What it means is that it is going to be eroding the gains and capital of the marketers. And given that it determines the price and how the final price is arrived at. And that is basically what we do at NPA. We try to see what is it that has informed your price. And so knowing what was happening in the market, we felt that it was nothing untoward. So it is not as though the window has been suspended. No, the window still remains. The principle still remains. But we're being sensitive to the practicality of the day.
Being sensitive to the practicality of the day. Head of communications at the NPA, Mohammed Kudus there, ending the Joy Business Report. Before we go, a look at the commodity market this morning. Crude oil stays at $95 a barrel. Gold went up marginally to open trading at $1,637 an ounce. Cocoa open trading at $2,379 a ton after increasing by $31. And here's news you want. Already said it, but since he's here again, I'll repeat it. It's 13 cedis 50 pesos to the dollar. The cedi lost grounds marginally.
Oh no,
the
cedi must not do that.
We just hope it was a one-off yesterday, maybe something.
Yeah. The cedi must gain. Yesterday, Edgar Redu sent me a message and said, please, the cedi is not gaining any grounds. It should go back to where it used to be. Said it should go back to where it used to be. And I was like, I mean, you went to 15, and so if you're going to, 13, yeah, it's not bad. But he says, well, you have to get back to where you used to be.
Because
times are hard, and the cedi's depreciation seems to be the problem. Then why don't we get to, the 4?
Where we used to be.
4 at the beginning of 2017.
That seems impossible right now.
Oh, really?
It's not, well, I don't know. But not in the near future. I doubt.
Anyway, thank you very, very much, Daryl, for joining us with the Joy Business Report.